Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at what happened with the Colorado Avalanche and their goalie situation last summer. We got some interesting stuff here from Pierre LeBrun and Michael Russo on that front. The Avalanche were going after their guy. They had their backup option, and then the next option came about, and that's when we saw the Avalanche maybe show a little bit of a weakness, and we'll talk about that here. So, this is from Pierre LeBrun and Michael Russo. Colorado's top option was to re-sign Philip Grubauer, who was their starter the entire time. Now, there was some doubt that maybe they didn't like him completely. They weren't completely sold into Grubauer. But plan B was Freddie Anderson. Now, at the time, Freddie Anderson was with the Toronto Maple Leafs and was kind of in a similar situation as Grubauer in the sense that he was the number one guy, but there was always this sense that there was the doubt from the fan base and management, is he the future number one guy? And that kind of sounded like it could be a fit. Freddie Anderson could go to the Avalanche, right? Well, he couldn't sit and wait. So he went to his plan B. So he had the Avalanche, which was his plan A, Freddie Anderson. And plan B was Carolina. Now, by the time Grubauer had already signed with the Seattle Kraken. So now you have Freddie Anderson, who was kind of waiting to see on the Avs if they would sign Grubauer. And okay, all right, I've been waiting around. You're waiting for Grubauer. I'm going to go. So, and remember, Grubauer signed at the end of the day. And that's why this whole thing kind of went into a tailspin for the Avalanche. So Freddie Anderson said, all right, screw this. I've been waiting this whole morning. Let's go. I'm going to go to the Carolina Hurricanes. They're a pretty good team. They got a good system. Rod Brendamore, not to mention the cool jerseys and, the cute little ice girl. So I'm going to go to the Hurricanes. Now, Grubauer, now they've kind of invested a lot into Grubauer, and he ends up saying, you know what, I'm going to go for the money. I'm going to go to the expansion Seattle Kraken. So now the Avalanche are like, shit. Well, now what do we do? So now our starter, Grubauer, he's gone. He goes to the expansion team. That's a tough blow for probably $500K more per year. He decided to go elsewhere. And now Freddie Anderson, who was our backup option, is also off the table. So by the time Grubauer signed in Seattle, there was no UFAs left. Now, that's not completely true. I mean, unless they wanted Craig Anderson or Devin Dubnyk, they were available. Or Alex Stalock, right? So Colorado got Kuemper. It wasn't plan A. Now, I think this is more of them trying to make amends with the egregious price that the Coyotes got for Kuemper. You guys remember at last year's trade deadline, there was rumors that Ranta and Kuemper could get traded. The Coyotes ended up not moving Kuemper, and they waited till free agency, which was perfect because then they were able to do this. The Avalanche, they got a first-round pick, Connor Timmins, I want to say even a second-round pick. Like, they got a lot for Darcy Kuemper. It took a big chunk out of the Avalanche's defense and prospect pool. And the Coyotes were just like, woohoo, we got draft picks from the Islanders. We got draft picks from the Panthers, from the Flyers. Oh, yeah. And now we traded Kuemper for a couple first and some depth prospects. All things were great, right, for the Coyotes. And it was good timing for the Coyotes. They were in the right place at the right time with the right guy. Now, Darcy Kuemper's had a great season in Colorado. I don't think anybody's really saying anything against that, but you could tell that wasn't the plan necessarily. And Pavel Francouz, they really liked Francouz last year. He has not been a great backup, and I think that's something they'll end up addressing anyway. They're going to have to trade more assets to get a backup goalie here. Whether that ends up being like a guy like Jonas Korpisalo or imagine if Varlamov returned. Maybe not after that game against the Islanders last week. Semyon Varlamov could be out there. I would think Georgiev would be in there, but I think the Rangers are going to keep him. They're a playoff team. So, I don't know. The Avalanche, they put themselves in a bind. And unfortunately, when Joe Sakic had the reign of successes with the Matt Duchene trade, which ultimately led to him getting Bowen Byram, Just a couple of little things that have gone right for the Avs. Fortunately, one of those things, eventually something was going to go wrong for them, and teams were just too willing to just gnaw off the leg of what the Avalanche left. So, kind of interesting. I thought I'd make a video about that. Nothing too crazy, but definitely something to look at. And, yeah, that's what led to us today, where we now have Freddie Andersen in Carolina, Philip Grubauer having a terrible first season in Seattle, and Darcy Kuemper, pretty respectable first season in Colorado. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.